This is my tutorial on creating a CAD model of the personality core known as Wheatley from the video game franchise Portal. If you're watching this, then you're either interested in Portal or CAD design. And there's some information here that's useful, but all we are interested in is this here. This is the personality core's height and weight. So it has a height of 1 foot, but some other sources that I found suggest that it's 1 foot 1 inch, which I presume means that when its handles are at the top and fully extended, I should say, then it will gain 1 inch on its height. So if we switch over now to OnShape, let's create a new document and call this Wheatley. Apologies for my terrible spelling. Okay, so it's Wheatley. Let's call it Wheatley Tutorial. Oops. Yep. That's incorrect, I think. Yep, it's incorrect. So there we go. Now, let's go create. Now, we can use this as a reference here because this has some useful information. Well, it's half of the overall height. This one here is actually really useful. So instead of working on this to life size, we just work on this and presume that all units are in millimeters, which is what my OnShape account is set up to as standard. So this will actually make it far more straightforward to try and get its sizes right. So let's begin by first drawing the outer circle. That should be the easiest part. So we can work on any plane that we want, but just for convenience, I'm going to work on the right plane for this. So sketch, right. Now, just trying to figure out where to begin here. So we need a ball of 17. So draw this, set to 17. So we're working with diameters here. If you're working in radiuses, just double it. So now we've got the basic outer shell finished. Like, presuming he's a perfect sphere, which he's not. From the back of his shell into where his eye is 15. So we take the line tool, take this from the center. We want to take it from the outside, which is here. So see how it's now got the two snap things there shown? That shows that we have the vertical lock and that we have a snap point on the circle. So we snap there, press down, and we draw a line. That little black line below the mouse pointer tells us that we're still vertical. So press enter and 15, right? So now we can go up here and we can press the line, or we can just press L whilst we're in sketch. And this gives us the line feature. So we draw a straight line up and then just bring this back down there. Now trim, oh no, sorry, that's tangent. Pressing T is tangent. So in this software, you press M for trim, or you just press the scissors up here, which are also trim. And we trim off this circle, this bit of the circle I should say, because it's no longer needed. Now we're told that we also have a thickness of 15 here and 18 here. So we can sort of ignore this section right here at the moment, because we're just focusing on this bit. Now, for simplicity, we're going to presume it's a perfect circle still. So I think what we should do is give this a shell thickness. So there's two ways of doing this. The quickest way I find is to use the offset tool, snap this line, and then extrude this. So we want a wall thickness of 0.5. So enter, 0.5, enter again. Now take the circle tool. We probably should have done the offset before we trimmed the other circle so that we could get this, but never mind. this works too. So snap it there, press M again for trim. Now we take this bit off. This is going to bug me because it's now double lined. So, hang on. If we just remove this completely for now, let's just manually draw the circle back in. Sorry, that would be the easiest way. So we started with 17.5 would give us 16, I think. Yeah, 16. Now we go trim this bit. Now we've got the single lines. So now what we can do is we can use the revolve. So Shift W or revolve, remove all of this and select this section here. Now this just tells us that we only want this bit that's now highlighted in orange or yellow. Now the axis for revolving it round, we want to select that line that we drew through the center of the circle. This one here that runs horizontal. So we select that. Now we've got a nice circle drawn around it. Now that's the beginnings of the core. So that looks alright, but it's not perfect. So select this and let's see, edit appearance. Yeah, let's make it white. That's not the right white. That's a good white though. Yep, let's use that. Or what about this one? Actually, I think that might be a really good one. Or, let's see. What about pure white? Ah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm just being a little bit pedantic here. You don't need to be this precise. So, I don't really know what most of this means. All I know is that this is our RGB values. 244 seems right for all of it. That's a nice white color. It really doesn't matter the color. You could have it any color you wanted, but because I'm just going to be working on this is the center piece. So this is what I'm going to be working around. So it has to be white for me so I can see properly. So now the next step is to just have a quick drink before my tea goes cold. Okay, now, being serious though, the next step is to have a look at this bit here. I'm sort of darting around here. Yeah, this tells us that the core is also 15 wide with the outer plates on. So this gets a little bit confusing. So I think we're going to have to work on top down now so that we can get this 12.8 from center. So yeah, we're going to go 12.8 from center to center. This is a good idea, I think. Okay, so let's go to the top, sketch, and we're now working on the top plane. So let's draw a line, or sorry, no, first up, press U for use. So now we're going to bring in this edge here. This is the opening for his eye. So now we can go to line from here, draw up, go well beyond what we need, and set this to 12.8. Okay, this is kind of interesting because it almost snapped to the circle. But as we can see, I've actually made a mistake here. So, there's actually a small lip between the outer shell component here and his eye, which this doesn't really show too well, but it is a tiny little gap there. So, let's go and correct that. So, Control Z, or rather Command Z on the Mac. Let's take away that line from there. So you'll see there's no longer this control line. So switch back to the top. Instead, we just need to draw out and then snap it onto the circle. So let's get this circle, or semicircle, and then switch to line tool again. Draw a line out to there. It's 8.5. What a surprise. Reselect the line tool. in just 1 second we look at this, and well, that's kind of annoying because it doesn't tell us the gap between his 2 plates here. So to do that, I'm going to kind of have to cheat a little because I figured it out before. So let's open up a new OnShape. Well, let's go to a personality core that I previously completed. Maybe I should take that away. Yep, that shouldn't be highlighted. I think I must have accidentally pressed it at some point, as this is one of my designs, although you'll notice that I have used an import for this, but this is because I've made it in a different software where it's simpler to work on, whilst I was just practicing with this software to create a model with reactions. So these are all reactions, or as it says, mate features. So that enables us to do things like this, because we've created reactions between this handle and its pivot and the eye. But we've done that from another submodel that we've imported from. That's why we can do things like this. Does the shell move? No. Oh, yeah. This bit does. Okay. So that doesn't actually look too healthy. So let's just leave him alone and just guess. Let's try and get a sense of proportions. Just going to take a quick look, see if there's another picture that maybe has slightly more information. There's a few pictures here that might work, but okay, let's just stick with this. I'm just trying to think. All right. So where were we? Sorry, I've just come back from a small break, so I kind of forgot where we were. Oh yeah, that's where we're trying to decide on this here. So I think the easiest way to do this is to just make a circle, extrude the circle across until it intercepts this circle. So I'll close this down. I'll switch back to here. All right, so I need to reconnect. There we go. Back in. So back to this now. What was that circle again? I'm sorry, I forgot. 12.8. So we can go to rectangle. From that center point, bring it up. Any size will do. So we'll go 2 by 12.8. When I say any size will do, I mean this bottom size. Any size here on this bottom bit will do. So let's now draw a line from the center point on each of the bottom and top side. Sorry, that makes no sense. Draw a vertical, hang on. No, yeah, draw a vertical line from the center point of the square. Jeez, my English is not good. But I am struggling here. Hang on. I'm trying to multitask, which is kind of a problem. So we've drawn this line. This one doesn't really matter how far out it goes, so long as it passes. So long as the line passes through the square, or rectangle, or at least to the edge of it. So now we can trim this excess bit off. We can actually trim this here too. It's no longer necessary. So yeah, that's gone. it's completely gone now. Okay, so now select this top section that we've just drawn with this rectangle, and then we want to revolve it. The axis of revolution, or the revolute axis, put there. Now it's a new body. Okay, so we may have made a mistake here. Hang on, I'm going to delete that, and actually I'm just going to delete the sketch too. Start as if we hadn't done sketch 2 at all. Now, the idea here is, let's get this 15.5 in. So, back to here. So we're using the center point rectangle. Snap it onto the center. Want to extrude it way past the top and bottom of the shell. And what size is that meant to be again? 15.5. So, we want this bottom bit. We set this to 15.5. Okay. Now we draw another one here. Just make sure it's bigger than the circle, or rather this bit that we've already done. Now we tick this off and grab these bits, and we want to extrude these, and we want to put these into remove and set to symmetric. Okay, so now we've got something that looks a little strange. That's fine. Now we've got the outside of the shell here, which we know is 12.8 jolting out. So, switch to here, select here, sketch, center point, circle, and we want to set this to 15.8. So it's 12.8. And we're doing this on the wrong circle too. So, no, don't want to restore, made a mistake. Now, sketch on here. Now, let's just check. It actually says 12.8, so that's the size we're going to do. I suppose I can edit this mistake out later. Anyway, so we snap to there and go here. 12.8. Now that actually does look right. But it isn't right, because this tells us it isn't. But that doesn't actually matter at the moment, because all we need to do is extrude this, set it to new, and let's set it up to face, right? Now if we select this here, now select this, switch direction, and it's still new, so now, when we press tick, should be able to remove that and see that it's now left the imprint. So we know that this looks about right. So let's now go and set this to remove, and we want to set it to fruit all, and we want to take this bit out. Okay, that actually looks about right. Now, that looks quite good. Although, now what we have to do is remove this lip from here. So, to do that, I'm going to go here and sketch. I'm just going to do something very, very simple, which is to just extend the faceplate section out, like so. And I'm going to extrude this into the face as a new part. So let's go new. So what we can do is we can actually take this and move it up here. So this has now occurred before this piece. So let's go and suppress it. This gives us the sides back in. Now, what we can do, which is kind of clever, is we can go intercept, select this and this new piece, press OK. Now, we can remove part 2 now, so we can delete this. We remove part 1. There we go. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these up to here. So these are now occurring before we take the side panel out. Now, we go unsuppress. This leaves us with quite a nice faceplate. Something's still gone wrong because we've got this edge here, which we don't want. So, when I try and get rid of that edge, I'm just thinking of what would be the easiest way. Well, actually, there might be an even simpler way, so if we just hide that for now, we switch to the top plane again. Actually, let's do it from the bottom plane. So, bottom, select the bottom, and we want to go use and select this. So now it thinks we've got a circle going. That's good. So we can draw this out to here, 17, which means the next circle on the inside has to be 16 exactly. Now let's refocus on the bottom. Let's go line, and we're going to draw. Well, no, sorry, we're going to use this line here as a base point. Line. I'm going to draw this line straight across here. This doesn't really matter that much how much of a circle you are going to leave yourself with, as long as there's enough that it looks as if the circle is beefed up slightly and not just really flimsy. So I actually need a center line now that goes from here. We'll extend this up the way like this. So tick, that gets rid of that. Now, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere, I feel like, at least. So, revolve, and let's select this line we've just drawn. Oh yes, that looks good. That looks right. I mean, we could have made it a bit bigger. That doesn't much matter. In fact, if anything, I think these holes might be a little bit big. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I think I've made a mistake here. Yeah, I've made quite a big mistake actually, because only this bit here. So, to rectify this, we select this hole that we've just made. Now, actually, I think only extruding this bit would do the job. So let's switch to here and remove all of this and only take out the centerpiece. There we go. That's much better. Now we can get rid of this. Or can we? Actually, I'm going to undo what I've just done there. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of switching backwards and forwards with this. So I'm going to select this and go split. And then reselect that same bit. Okay, that looks good. Now, if we go and look at the pictures, it doesn't actually show you the hole at the back of the core. It just presumes that it goes all the way around. But if we look at some other core pictures, like this one here, we can actually see that it doesn't go all the way through. It actually sort of stops. Now, I would say the front and the back opening are almost the same size. So, I'm just sort of thinking here, what if, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to draw on this face. So select front, and let's go circle. And we're just going to call this 8. Let's have a look at 8. 8's a little big. So let's just put it to 7.5. Yeah, okay, that looks about right. We can always change this later if it doesn't look as we want it to be. So we can press tick here and then extrude, which I'll show you. So I think so far I've only used them directly from the sketch. So tick there. We've still got that highlighted. Now extrude and remove. You see, it automatically realizes that removing flips it, and the only thing it can pass through is this here at the back. Now that looks alright. So, what I'm now going to do, I'm going to select this again. Hang on, space gets rid of it all. So let's go delete, or, hang on. Let's go and pretend that bit never even happened. And delete this bit, because without that. Okay, there we go. Now, if we go up into transform, rotate, so we want to rotate this piece. We want to copy it, obviously. And we want to go 180. And we want to do it this way. This will do. Okay. So now, we got the front and the back bits looking kind of identical. So what we're going to do now is select this circle with the split and split this piece that we've just copied round. We want to keep both sides. Now select these two and let's make them into one piece. If I just show you that if there were two pieces, this hole here is too big. So, oops. Let's bring 5 back in. So now we've got the smaller hole to work with. Let's go and hide these just to make sure I haven't messed up anywhere. Okay. I need to go back into this boolean and knock off this keep tools. That makes it one solid object. So if I just show you that before, you can see it's actually 3 different objects. So if I hide part 5 and part 2, we can see this grey bit, which could work, but we're not going to keep that. So let's go here and let's change this boolean to not keep the tools. Now it becomes one solid piece. So now we have the top and the bottom panels, and the front and back. These panels are not right. They're actually wrong. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select bottom again, bring in the front panel. Just before we go any further, I'm going to rename these parts so I can actually remember which one they are. So rename face. I mean, I know it's not actually its face, but that would do. Space again. Rename back. I was half tempted to either call it bum or tail, but back will do. Okay, so this is actually the bottom, so let's call this bottom, because it's easy to do it that way. Now this piece, I'm going to call, I need to unselect both and rename this to top. Unselect. Now, oops. Here we go. This actually looks quite good. So I'm going to go and I'm going to remove these, the face and the back panel again. And now we go to top and sketch. Let's go on top. Let's put the face back in. So now we know which way we're oriented. That's front. Let's have a look at the picture again. I actually don't like this sort of size here. I think this one might actually be a little bit better to work with, or even this one down here, but I think we'll use this in the second tutorial when we do the internals. I think that might work. For now though, I think we're just going to use this as a very basic terminally. That's not the right word. Reference. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking then, saying completely the wrong thing. It's a reference. Right, okay. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here, because that's quite a lot of detail I've never really noticed. It seems to have some sort of like position sensor, I would say. Belt drive, I mean, I've noticed that before. You'd really think with a personality core that it would use a brushless direct drive motor rather than needing some pulley, because that's just something that could go wrong. And rubber pulleys over time, they become less and less effective. So you'd expect that they wouldn't use something as poor quality as rubber. But anyway, that's kind of off topic. Let's get back on topic now. We can focus on that later. But for now, I really just want to have a look at this sort of referencing. So you can see here that there's sort of these tread bits. They're actually vents for the electronics inside, so, well, I think so at least. There isn't really any definitive proof I've come across. But, I think once we've sorted out this gap here, we'll then focus on this frame bit, this actual metal frame. I think that would be quite a fun bit to work on. So, we're going to bring the face and the back bits back in. I'm going to draw a square. Well, first I'm going to go use. So hang on, sorry, I'm just going to undo what I just did then. Use, draw there. Now, if we draw this first square to about there, and the second one to there, I think that's going to look alright. So, select these two again, extrude, and remove, and symmetric, and then select this piece, and this piece. There we go. So now, what we're going to do is boolean all of these parts into one piece, and rename this to inner shell. It's misspelled, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, now got the inner shell complete. This looks alright. So I'm just trying to index where I am. There. So, what I am just going to do before I go any further and before I forget, I'm going to split this into two pieces. This is going to be important later on. We don't want properties. Right, we'll mess around with this a bit later, but for now I'm going to rename it to inner shell 2. I'm not going to bother renaming the first one to number 1 because, quite frankly, I think I could remember that. What I am now going to do is I'm going to bevel this edge. So, chamfer, sorry. 5 mil is too much, so let's set to 2. 1 even? 1's a bit too much, so 0.1. It's not enough, so 0.5. Too much, 0.25. You know what? I think, actually, I'm not going to do a chamfer. But instead I'll do a fillet here and here, and set this to 0.25. Yeah, that looks right. That looks way better. In my opinion. Feel free to leave your own comments if you think that I could have improved anything. I'd usually be able to do this much quicker if I wasn't trying to explain what I'm doing. So, what time is it? That don't really matter, but it's 12. well, 12:45. Yeah, it's getting pretty close to lunchtime, but never mind. I mean, that isn't really a concern. I'm just now thinking about how to do these shell bits, these outer shell parts. Now, for simplicity reasons, we're just going to say that the front and the back mirror one another until we come to the handle bits, but that's later. So, we go back to the one we were using before. That's kind of interesting, sorry. Maybe zoom out a little bit, that might help. So yeah, this will do. So 15.5, sorry, 12.8 in. I've just realized something. This 15.5, it's perfect for what we need to do. Especially if we're actually given the diameter of the shell right here as being 18. So we can use that. Now, I'm going to work from the back because I don't think I've actually worked from here yet. At least in this design. I've worked on the back, but not from the back view. So I'm going to draw a circle here. We're going to set this to size it's way too big. And then 18. Okay, so you see 18 is unrealistic because it extends way beyond the shell. That's actually what I need. So let's set this to 12.8 up. So we go here. We draw this. We only want to work on this side. So down here, let's just set this to 30 for now. And what did we say this was? This is 12.8. So 12.8. All right, that does cause me a small problem. You notice there's a lot of shell missing here. So I'm gonna suggest maybe this should be, I don't know, 14. No, 14 is not enough. How about 15? 15 is just enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one again. Go top. Now let's move this edge over to about here. Yep. Okay, so you'll notice now we've got an overhang, which is actually what I want. So now let's just switch to the front. Let's reopen this. I'm going to use again, so both halves of the circle, get this in, get this in. By the way, this inner circle that I've just put in, totally overkill. It's not at all needed. It just gives us an idea of how much of an intercept we have. So now what I'm going to do is get rid of, or trim, I should say. I'm going to trim these bits because they're no longer needed. There we go. Now, I'm also going to trim this bit off because we don't need the top and bottom shell. Now, back to the line, and we know that the outermost is 15.5 for the shell. So, what we're now going to do is draw another square. Again, 30 on this side, just for convenience. And we switch back to here, 15.5. So, there we go. As you'll see, this now creates a massive opening. So this inner circle bit is going to be of use to us later. But for now, I can just get rid of these lines. I can get rid of this square bit. I only want the lines that are intersecting the circle. Those are the only ones that are important to me at the moment. Did not trim, yeah, okay, doesn't really matter. Okay, press tick. And I forgot to put it in again. So, reopen this, to a center line across the circle. There we go. Now, select these two, select revolve, and go for this axis here. Now you'll notice straight away that this is wrong. It does not look right. We're going to rectify this. So now we're going to remove the inner shell parts, switch back to the top view, and go sketch. Now, we're told that it's only 12.8 here, so let's go top there. Now, we can go 12.8. Sorry, I was struggling to find the 8 key then. And 25, I think should be enough, yep. Now, extend this up. This I'm just going to do as 25 by 25. Now we've got problems here, so undo, undo, and completely undo that line. Now, this is not snapped onto anything, so 25 by 25. Problem that occurred before was the fact that I just put straight onto a restraint and then tried to resize the restraint, and even though I was going for 25, the software doesn't like me using a restraint and then oversizing on the resize. It gets a little bit annoying. So now, I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to go there and symmetric. I'm going to remove it from these two parts. Sorry, I used start and offset, that's not what I meant. I should use symmetric. That I would say looks alright, actually. I mean, considering this just has a dome at the back, and we've got the starting of a dome. The bit I like the most is actually this here. So we've actually got these flat bits. Now this doesn't actually show it, but there would be these flat bits. They are shown here. These bevels. Now, we'll come over here. Look at this. It would suggest that it's completely curved. So, I need to just check something. I'm actually going to do a V in here. Now, what I'm also going to do is just move this line here ever so slightly. So if I select final there, this enables me to see everything that comes after it. So, if I move this line to here, now look at that, we've actually got the vents. And it mirrors on the opposite side. So now, we have something that looks a little more accurate. But, we still have a small problem. So if we go to this one here, where we extrude these, and now, if we go here, we draw this circle, we've now got a point of intercept, which is right here. But, just to keep up with what we did before, I'm actually going to draw another V in here. So it's now snapped on. Let's trim this line here, this line, and press OK. I'm not sure. Pardon me. I really hope that was not just picked up on the microphone then. So, now I'm going to go line again. Draw another intercept. I just double tapped L then to get rid of one line tool and bring in the next. So now we know that these should all be 90 degrees. So let's go for trim again. And okay. But now, we got a small problem because the shell doesn't look right. So, this is the most difficult part, is with these chamfers, is just trying to get them to look right. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to remove these guys. This nice big cross. Switch to the line tool and reconnect the line across both of these. Tick. So now we've just taken a straight mark out of it. And I think I'm going to do the same here. Remove this V. So now we've got this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide these two pieces. I'm going to select this, like so, and same on this side. Shoot. I didn't mean that. Sorry. Okay, so now, what I'm going to do, now that I've selected the 8 edges, I'm going to chamfer it. I'm going to bring this down to 0.5. Nope. 0.6. Not quite. 0.9. Ooh. Yes. This is right. Now, I just need to do sort of a dumb check. So let's go to a good picture of a personality core. One that's not too grainy. These are all grainy and off-putting. That actually reminds me of a song. Oh, through my neck. Getting notifications. Sorry. I can't really tell from some of these pictures. I would say that it's about correct. Oh, there's an actual blueprint. A couple of blueprints. Alright, so, yeah, it looks about right. You can see that these are sort of beveled at the top. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Maybe they have, like, this on top of them too. These opening bits. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a detail that most people don't include. Nor does the game model. If that is a game model, which I think it might be. Should have just gone for GLaDOS core. Would be so much easier. That may be mispronounced, by the way. I really don't know. Do you pronounce it GLaDOS, or is there another way you should be pronouncing it? Anyway, that's sidetracked. So, alright, ooh. 120 degrees of rotation for the handles. That's actually really good to know. 10 times zoom lens. Yep. Tread technology. Alright, I really hope I'm not annoying you as much as I'm annoying myself by continually saying the same thing. Right, okay, so I think that looks right. It looks good enough. So as an engineer, I'm just going to say it's good enough to be correct. It's all a matter of opinion, so it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to make an opening in the case. Which will enable us to see this rail section. Now, I actually quite like this detail, where it shows that it's got the, I'm trying to think what it's called, the internal frame showing through. Now, as this is the part that all of the frame, as that's the frame and all of the body panels have to connect to it, it needs to be pretty beefy. Sorry if you're a vegetarian, but yeah, beefy. Pretty strong, I suppose is possibly the best way of putting it. I mean, after all, we do see GLaDOS crushing Wheatley, and yet Wheatley still survives, so clearly he's not got an aluminium frame. That would need to be something like titanium reinforced, or something like that. So, the question is, does Wheatley have a slot in the top and the bottom? Well, let's, just for argument's sake, say yes he has. Got a slot in the top and the bottom of his shell that connects to his management rail thing. So, let's call this 0.5. The overall width does not matter, as this is not his shell. This is not his rail; it's just his shell. So now this, if we go dimensionalize, select this. Let's just set this to 1.5 precisely, because that's a good number. And let's call this just 7, right? Yeah, that looks alright. Maybe we could push it to 8. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it's noticeable. Alright, so now we can go and trim some of the lines off. So I'm now using the drag trim feature. So you can select individual lines by tapping on them, or you can tap and pull down with the cursor, and that allows you to select multiple lines at the same time to trim. But luckily, the way in which this works with the trim feature is as your trim tool passes each line, it will delete or trim that line as it passes it, one by one. Whereas some softwares I've used, they'll allow you to select multiple lines, but they'll all delete at the same time. So that gets a little bit irritating, because it means that if you over trim and you press undo, you have to start the trim all over again. Whereas with this drag feature, if you delete the wrong one, you can go back to the wrong one and put it back in super easily. So now we've still got these two lines here to deal with. So there actually isn't any lines there, sorry. That's this. And because we dimensionalized, it seems to have decided to continue the dimension through the box, which is really frustrating sometimes. Okay, so now, just need to check here. Yep, it passes all the way through. So extrude and remove from this and from this. And we want it to be symmetric. Alright. Now I'm sure there's lots of people out there saying, that's not right, you shouldn't have done it like that. You'll find one of those people currently screaming at myself, you shouldn't have done it like that, there's another way. But then I'm also saying, I don't really care. So now, we want to draw a circle that's 16.5, considering the inside is 16 diametered. Yes, I just made up a new word. Great. I'm going to try extremely hard not to say M any further and find new creative ways of explaining the fact that I'm pausing because I'm trying to think. Probably just end up saying something like buffer, because that seems reasonable. Okay, so the first line is 16. Now, interestingly, if we draw a line, a circle to 17 now, it might look right from a distance, but if we zoom in, we'll notice that there's now a gap. And that's because obviously we've just taken a chunk of the 17 away. So, buffering, no, not really. Right, so 16.5. Right, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that again. Right, so let's do this and use the projection convert tool, because actually that seems quite useful. So, I'm going to project this line. We don't have, sorry, I'm yawning. We don't have to worry about this outside 17. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of that now, because it served its purpose. We only care about this little section here. So now, let's use the revolve. No, I can't revolve, because I forgot to put the center line in. So now the center line goes all the way through. There, that's right. Tick. Get rid of that. Now, actually, I think I may have made a small mistake. Please bear with me whilst I do some technical. Yep, I made a mistake because it's faceplate. Oh no. Right, okay. What I've just done there, ignore that. That's not necessary. So, now we have a somewhat decent looking shape. Here's the small problem we have. Because he's actually got this lip here. Now, if we draw a line, which I can't do here unfortunately, if we were to draw a line, this passes on here, but we know that this curve is sort of interrupted. And it's offset ever so slightly. So, I'm going to say that his eye socket part here is the same diameter as this outer ring, like the outermost bit of his eye socket, because they look sort of lined up. Actually, maybe that's right in the middle. I don't know. Just let me grab a rule. I'm really trying to stop saying that. Right, I cannot see a ruler around here anywhere. So, please bear with technical difficulty. That's not going to work, because that's a bit of hose, and it's not straight, it's rubber. Right, hang on. Right. You know what? I think I might have something here that will work. I have a receipt. Yep, that'll do. And it's closest, damn it, to straight. Oh, actually, yep, it is straight. Enough. Okay. The outer bevel bits here are in fact in line with this inner line. Yeah. The inner side of his faceplate bit is actually this bit here. So, let's go use this. Oh, sorry, I need to actually make a sketch on the front. Go use and drop a little pin thing. Now, if I draw a line across here, I can then bring in a circle tool. I actually have a center line now, but I don't think I'm going to need it somehow. Right. I'm going to use the tangent tool here. So, what we do is we draw this square thing, rectangle, sorry, and press tangent. What we can do is we can select this line here and the circle. And that snaps the line onto the circle. And we go over here. Now, that's actually enough of a bevel for me. So, what I'm going to do is draw a circle to there. This can be any size so long as there's a noticeable bevel. And click done. Now. Oh, yeah, I do need that actually. Good job I put that in this time. Alright, so select that. Now, let's go remove. And what do we want to remove it from? We want to remove it from this one. And this one. Okay. And what I can now tell you is that that's wrong. Unless we haven't made the opening in the shell big enough. I can rectify this problem by creating a new shell part, or cleverly, I can go sketch here. If I select the use tool again, this is a flat line, as demonstrated by selecting the inner and outers, which means that somewhere I've mucked up. So just bear with me whilst I try and figure out what I've done wrong here. You know, I can actually see my mistake straight away. It's the fact that I've used a flat edge right here, and I shouldn't have. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this sketch. I'm going to draw a line straight across to here. Then draw a line across from here to here. Now, draw a line here to here, where it intersects, draw a line across, and again, all the way across till we reach here. Now, I actually quite like the way this comes out here. So I could try, no, that's not going to work. So instead, what I'm now going to do is draw another circle into here. Bring this one up to here. Right, that actually gets quite funny. Sorry, that's really sidetracked. Right, stop saying would I? You know what? I'm actually going to cheat again. And I'm going to undo a lot of what I've just done. I'm just going to press tick. I'm just going to say that's right. Alright, that looks good. Okay, now, I'm actually really not happy with that at all. I think I could do better. So, I'm going to decrease the shell slightly. And I'm going to go here. Select the square, or rectangle rather, and bring this rectangle to here. I'm going to bring this one up closer because I want only a tiny little lip bit to be formed. About that will do. And I need to reopen this to correct this mistake. I need to get rid of this line, and I need to get rid of this one. And the same on the opposite side. Get rid of this one and this one. And what that now does is it basically allows us to move this entire infill with the lip. Like so. But we have a major problem now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these two bits that I've just done. Instead, revolute, these two parts. Tick. Now, this is right. This looks good, I would say. In my opinion, this looks actually quite decent. So now, I'm going to go and do the shell. I'm going to colour this, actually. That's a good idea, colour it. Edit appearance of two parts. Now, I want to set this to, I believe it was 244. Ooh, that's a nice colour, I think. Bit sandy, I would say. And 244. White. Alright, that looks right. So, now, we go and we look at So I'm just gonna start making noises now. I'm making noise whenever I say the wrong words, so that's why. Or rather, when I'm sort of running out of vocabulary to use, or when my brain's just refusing to work properly. I think this is because let me start that again. Because this is the first time I've actually done an audio tutorial, I think this is going to go slightly weird. Because there's a lot of pressure and stuff to make sure this is all right. I hear on the second version, it's supposed to be a lot easier. So, yeah. Alright. I didn't mean to press that then. I meant to press up here. You know what? I think I may have completely forgotten. Oh, that's quite cute. Completely forgotten to check on what I was trying to... There we go. Yeah, it's silver. I'm right, it is a straight through hole. So, now, go here. And we can assign only... we can edit the appearance of only these 6 selected faces. So, now it's a case of selecting the silver that looks right. Yeah, that looks right. It's the only coloration I'm going to do for now. I think the last video in this series is definitely going to be a complete coloring tutorial. It's probably going to be super quick. I've got 7 notifications. They've been there all this time and I've only just noticed them. So, export, another export, transition, another export, transition, translation, not transition. Alright. No notifications, that's very good. So now, what we're going to work on is the frame. Sorry, I completely forgot what the word was then. Right, okay. I really want some music now. That's weird. Okay. Oh, that was a sketch tool, sorry. Right, okay. Sketch. Nope. Let's go for use first. Even though I should know that that's only 16. Because I've drawn it enough times. So, 16. And we're going to use the line feature to draw center line. So I don't forget to do that later. Now, I'm going to delete that circle that we just put in and go Shift J. which fixes this circle in place. Now, offset. Now, everything so far has been offset by 0.5, I think. Well, nearly everything. Obviously, there's been sections where it's been completely freestyled. So now, what we need to do is find a picture of the shell. Oh, well, would you look at that? Just what I need. Wow. Actually, this is quite useful. Because I always thought that this was a screen of some description, but they're actually calling it an emotional conveyance disk. Outer shell and inner shell. I got those right. Stewart platform. Actually, this might be super useful because look, they've even included gimbal. And an internal rails. Okay. I've never looked in here, so this could, I've made a mistake there. Because he shouldn't have a disc at the front, should he? So wait, does that mean it's, no, because it's connected at the back. I would say that's too flimsy if it is two different pieces. So what I'm going to do is, later on, I'll take this chunk right here. I just tried to point at it with my actual finger and it's not a blooming touchscreen laptop. I blooming well forget sometimes that this is not a touchscreen because I'm so used to my iPad and my iPhone. Other brands are available, I should mention. It's just I happen to be all Apple with this. So anyway, right. I realise this is getting kind of long now, so let's try and get this cobbled together a little bit quicker. Funny that. Sorry. I kind of pinched the name straight from there. I was looking at that. Right, okay, so that actually tells me now that we don't want a line going across this way, even though I kind of want to bring this in, so that we have a reference to work with. So, because we've now got a reference to work with. I'm gonna kind of figure some more stuff out. So, actually, that works quite nicely. I keep getting distracted by notifications on my watch. Yes, it's an Apple Watch. I'm pretty sure I didn't need to say that because, like, everything else of mine is Apple. Now, because its eye has to be able to slide in and out of this hole, I would usually do a V here, but that might restrain the movement slightly. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here, bring it down to here. So now we've got a center point to work with, so that we're not messing with anything up here. So we bring it down to that new mark I've just made. There. And now, press tick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all of this now. And then I'm going to edit this to get rid of everything that I don't need anymore. So you'll notice I'm sort of being sporadic with where I'm actually dragging my cursor. There isn't really any reason for this, it's just sort of because I want to. Because I don't really know of a better way of doing this. Try to remove the center mark. So you'll notice that this 0.5 is floating over here. That's simply because it's telling us that that's the offset from here, and it still presumes that the circle is actually going all the way around, which it's not. But that doesn't really matter. So now, we click here. I'm going to reorientate this using this little arrow up here. Pardon me. Sorry. I got the burps again. Right, so bring it back round. Use these arrows. I can bring it into a point where I can now work on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a sketch. I'll do a sketch on the top axis. I'll draw a line here, escape, and put in a rectangle. So restraint here, it has 0.5. We only want this to be 1. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to draw a line here. I'll call this 0.6. Draw a line here, which I'm just going to call 0.4, sorry. Yeah, 0.4. Just so there's no mistake. Alright, so now we can take out these bits, so they're no longer needed. We can remove this bit so I don't mistake that for a part that has to be taken out. Here's a problem that I've now encountered. The top and the bottom of the management, or it's not a management rail, that's the last bit. The top and bottom are not meant to be symmetric. So what I'm using here is a 3-point rectangle, or the aligned rectangle. So what I can do is I can go here, snap 1, snap 2. Then I can pull this up, and let's call this 0.5. That should be 0.05. My mistake. So 0.05. And now we go trim, and we remove this. And now we can remove this line completely. Simply because I'm not happy with this, showing up as so many different lines. I'm also going to get rid of these snap points. I'm going to draw a new single line in. Did I say super single? I meant single line. Okay, now. I just realised I only need one of these lines. Doesn't matter much. What I'm going to do is sweep. Now if I select this, what I can now do is go and select, this is the sweep path. Now I've selected the outside one for a reason. Now I'll bring back the sweep path that I've just used. I'm going to go and select this and go right. Draw a box here. It doesn't actually matter about the dimensions of this box or even what shape it is. As long as you have enough to grasp onto, or at least snap your cursor onto and extrude. Remove asymmetric. That's fine. Now, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. What am I doing? I just hit the wrong keys then, so hang on, sorry. I need to hide this, not delete it. Okay, so we select this, and now I'm going to sketch. I should be able to snap this into the center. Snap it like so. And now, if I'm right in thinking, I should be able to select these two bits. Select this. And I'm being extremely lucky. So now, I want to call this a one direction. Flip it. And I only want it to go 1 degree. No, not even that. 0.5. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into 4 components that I'm then going to sort of not stick back together, but I'll put them together in a certain way that will make perfect logical sense when it's finished. Because of this being 2 different materials and your faceplate, this is simply for machining it purposes. Because I'm making this core design as if I would actually be building it in real life, I need to make a few modifications. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back here. I'm going to find that really, really detailed picture I had earlier. My screen brightness is decreasing, which is a bit annoying. Doesn't really matter much, it just annoys me. Okay, what was I looking for again? Sorry. I'm so easily distracted. Pretty sure that's MrVolts personality core. I might be mistaken, but I think that is. Yeah. Now, if you want to see a personality core being built in real life, I'd recommend subscribing to MrVolts' channel because he got some good quality stuff going on there. Right. Okay, so... Right, that's what I was looking for again. Yeah, I remember now. Stop saying that. By the way, anybody who thinks I'm going mad, I'm pretty sure I've already gone mad. So, yeah. Anyway, where was it? Where was it that I saw it? It was around here somewhere, I'm sure of it. Ooh. Oh, I can't really see that, but... huh. Okay. Right, that makes sense. It seems to be a Wheatley fan club. How could an evil robot have such a following? And why is he so goddamn cute? Ah, there it is. That's the picture I wanted. So, yeah, okay. This is decent. I can work with this. You know, someone's actually gone to a lot of effort here. Even to the extent of figuring out these servos. So, kudos to whoever this is. Some amazing work. I don't know, I need to do some credit to this. So I'm guessing that personality sphere is the person who put this up, so kudos to you, whoever you are. This is some fine work. You know, as I suspected, the top and the bottom case are actually two separate pieces. But left and right aren't separated, according to this design at least. I mean, there's enough information here that I could reasonably actually design one of these. Like, completely based on just this. Oh, it's a space core. How cute. It seems to be missing its something in here. Its iris, I think, should be in there. Now, irises are a nightmare to try and design. Which is why I'm completely going to miss out putting an iris on my design. If you don't like that, just comment, and I might actually stick an iris on it at some point in the future. I might even just do like a future one, putting it in. Who knows? Alright, if you're watching this and the video keeps jumping at certain points, it's because I'm closing the lid of my MacBook. It's because people keep coming trying to talk to me, so I don't really want to record a conversation with somebody else onto my video. So I'm closing my Mac's lid, and it's pausing the video because I can't actually pause this once I've got it started. Yeah, I'll have all these technical issues sort of solved next time, or later on. And you know what, I've just realised something. I think, at least, this might be the case. I could be completely wrong. But judging by this is actually the motor. This thing up here, I'm guessing, is some sort of stabilizer. I wonder if it's a counterweight system, because there does seem to be a disc inside of here that rotates. Now, I'm not entirely sure, so let's go and see an animation. I would put a video on, but pretty sure I wouldn't have permission from anybody to use their video. Which is why I'm just using these free image things. Oh, I just realized something. I should have maybe set this up before starting so that it did everything in... It did it all with the free to share video thing switched on. So, some of these are not even personality cores, which are a little bit annoying. I think that would really just be super simple. Or even that. Just make it a square. So, hang on. So, yeah. Alright. I'm not going to put any of the bolt details into this just yet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to reconnect these two pieces. Because they were not supposed to split. But, yeah, okay. That's not straight. That's going to really irritate me. You know what? I'm actually going to go and delete these two bits and this bit. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sketch up here. I'm going to use this tool, the align, no, that's not the align, sorry. I'll use the aligned square, rectangle. I'll bring it up to here, bring it down to here. You know what, actually? No. Let's undo what I just did. Because I actually quite like having this at a bevel. It's not going to annoy me as much as it would if it were straight, actually. I mean, it is pretty straight, I would say. What's the angle? Yeah, so it's 0.5, which is perfect. Well, sorry. Sorry about that. Just burped. You really didn't want to hear that, did you? Okay. There's the split feature again. I'm just going to take care of these before I go any further. Okay, so now we've got the free splits. Uh-oh. I didn't realize that it actually split there too, again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one up to here. Select this, move this, and remove this, and select this again. Now then. You know what? I'm going to do something else here too. I'm going to actually increase this to 1. Bring that back in. No, actually. I'm going to make that 2. No, not 3, 2. Alright. This now looks as if we have more material to actually work with. Ugh. Sorry, just a little cold. Got a nice cup of tea. It's actually quite decent. Anyway, let's go here and sketch on the front panel. I did have an idea that I might challenge myself to actually make one of these with only the revolute function, so no extrusion whatsoever. But I don't think that'd be possible for this level of design that I'm aiming for. So what I want to do now is just make sure that, you know, a little shortcut tip that really helps is if you're sort of working like this and you want to snap back to the back, you could revolve all the way around and select back, or you can click front and you can click this. Also, wherever your mouse is where your zoom will snap to. So if we put this right here, we zoom in here, you notice it actually does a good job of staying pretty centralized. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, 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 and this. I'm going to go and hopefully I can do this. Where is it? No, I thought I could make a folder to store them in temporarily, but I can't. So what I am going to have to do is transform. No, I've got a better tool actually. This one. We can take this, and we can go here, 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 and finally here. Now notice this gives us our squirrel cage. I don't think that's actually the right term for this. But never worry, it sounds good, to me at least. So, what I'm now going to do is open sketch, set this to final. Now if we look here, we haven't really got that much of a spacing offset, whereas we have here, or rather, I'm going to try and think of a better way of describing this. We don't have so much circle showing. I would say the distance between this point and this point is probably the same distance as from this point to this point. So the distance between each of these branchy offy bits, which I don't know their actual names, each section of this, I think has the proportions of 6. Now, that might not actually make any sense, what I just said. What do you mean proportions of 6? If you bear with me just a minute or so, I'll show you what I mean. So, we go here. And it's not the proportions of 6 at all, sorry, it's the proportions of 8. I've got the wrong tool. I want this one. Now, I'm going to do is set this to 8, escape, and dimensionalize this bit to exactly 1. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this circle down. I've just pressed I for the whatever that word is, coincident. Basically, it's connection. It's going to basically connect these two together like this. So now, I think that's actually right, but I don't actually think it is 1. So hang on. No, I think this distance is actually the distance of the inside of these rails. Now, if anybody remembers when I did it, I didn't exactly assign these a proper size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess and say that this is 0.9. That's probably not. No, it's not. That looks a bit closer. So 0.8. There we go. That actually looks good. I like that. So I'm going to remove this and then remove these guys. These guys are no longer necessary. Just delete them out of the way. Delete that. Delete this little dot here and Shift J. Or not, actually. Let's go dimensionalize. I do just want to make sure this is perfect. It's not. So, 2.1. Okay. Now comes the annoying bit of trying to get all of these discontinued. No, that's not quite the right word. Subtracted. Like that. So now, what I'm going to do add. Now it's turned red because I haven't selected anything, which means that it's actually errored. But you know what? Doesn't matter. Because it will all be fixed in a minute or so. Let's go start an offset of 8. And we just keep pressing the down button. Oh, hang on, it's going the wrong way. Actually, we only want 1.5. Nope, that doesn't look right. 1.25. Also doesn't look right. 1. It's a bit too shallow. 1.1. We've started an offset of 6.8. Hang on, why have I just done that? 7. It doesn't look right. I'm well aware of that. But it looks right enough. And what I'm about to do is set this to new. And select this, extrude up to face, that way. If we start an offset, let's do entity. Okay. Just thinking now. What I want to do is remove these rails. I think these are going to be a bit of a problem. Try and figure this out later. So just a thought. And I'm actually going to undo this delete. So I can put a plane in here. Now let's call this a 3-point. Not let's call, but let's use a 3-point plane. Now, if we go sketch and we select plane 1, what we can now do is line, draw. Let's go use this. Now, actually, I've just had another idea, which I think is going to work real nice. Which, of course, snap this onto this piece. Now, there's bolts going all the way through, which would presume that these are actually 2 pieces. So, to solve this conundrum for myself, I'm going to go and split this piece here and this piece in half using this plane. That's going to take its sweet time to load. Sorry, this is going to take a bit longer now that we're reaching quite a long time. So, I mean, I possibly could speed this up by closing some of these. So, I don't need this anymore. I'll leave that open. Battery. Okay. Sometimes this happens and we just need to relaunch the page because it sort of freezes on me if the internet sort of gets interrupted, which I think it has just been interrupted slightly. It's not the most reliable Wi-Fi's. So, right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete these bits from here. Delete. Yep. Now you can see down here it's telling me per Wi-Fi. That's going to have to be dealt with because that should be curved. But these blocks seem sort of flat. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go back to where did I do the sweep, which is here. I'll bring this one up. Now, let it use. Bring this up. Circle. I actually need the inside one, don't I? Not the outside. Right. Now, draw this. Where did it intercept? It intercepts along here. So what we're going to do is draw a line across here. Escape. Circle. We bring it up. And we need 4 of these, so there we go. Now, let's select trim again. That's not trim. Sorry. I selected tangent. So now, I'm trying to get this all sorted out. There's only a couple of lines here that don't actually need to be deleted because they're actually in the right place. But because it's going to bug me off when we come to do the next step, they got to go. Now, I'm going to draw this line all the way down. Draw another one here. And draw 2 more. Escape. Delete. Line. And flip trim. Okay. I need to delete this here, which splits this into 2 circles, which I can't do. So that's going to have to bug me off. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of interesting because this is now shifted and it shouldn't have. Let's get rid of these guys. Snap here, snap here. Trim these guys off. Okay. Now I need to trace down where that comes from. So hang on. I'm now just chasing errors. I see it now. That's a straight line where it should be curved. I must delete the curved line that intercepts there by mistake. So could delete this line. Draw an entirely new one here. Now we'll go trim again. Now I'm going to remove this line again and draw a new one in. Trim. Pardon me again. Okay. Tick. Okay, that's done it there. And this one. I just need to give it new Udemy flips to link onto. So to do that, I'm going to do U for use. Draw 2 dots there. Now these are from these corner bits on the top. Now connect them to the black dot, which is center mark. And just because I know that I'm going to put some bolts in here later, just to clarify, I did say bolts, as in set screws, or bolts, I'm not sure which, as of this second. Just trim this here, and we can go. I'm going to use this line again. I'll draw a line here. Now I'm going to draw a circle that extends beyond these 2 restraints, because of course I am. And then I'm going to remove these 2 and this little guy here, because he's no longer necessary. I say he. It's actually not gendered, considering it's just the blooming bolt. Okay, so now I'm going to use this over here. I'm going to draw another line, which goes here. Now, with the trim function, not the tangent, but the trim, I'm going to trim it like this, which will actually make sense when I'm done. And then I'm going to trim this line, and this line, and this circle. Now, I'm going to escape from the trim, and I'm going to use the circular pattern again. Select this, And I want to increase the part count to 8. Bring this all the way around. Now it might start being obvious why I did this bit. So I'm going to extrude this by 0.6 in the opposite direction. 0.6 is a bit much, so let's put it to 0.4. That's still a bit much. 0.25. Take a look at that. That's not enough, so 0.3. 0.35 even. Close enough. So tick. And I now want to sort of extend with these guys. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the sketch here. And I'm going to move each of these up. Set to 0.2. And then extend this down. Escape. Trim. Sorry, I think I went quiet then. Now, what I'm going to do is connect this line here instead. So I know I'm going in and out a little there. Actually, we don't need to. We can just leave that. So let's go trim. Trim this. Move this line. Move this. There we go. This little tab bit here is actually too chunky for my liking. So I'm going to set this to 2.5. I start an offset of 0.05. Yep, that's right. That looks good. That actually looks much better now. So take part 10. Hide part 10 even. And what I'm going to do is escape. Hide this again. Take this piece. You know, maybe I'm going to get rid of this trim from up here. So I'm going to put them back together again. I'm going to delete these guys here. We'll fix these guys later on. But now, I'm going to take this piece. And I actually do want to bring this sketch back in. So I have something to... Do I need it? No, I don't, because I've got this one. Right, sorry. We're going to go to cylindrical pattern. Select this. Well, you can see all four of these pieces actually connect into one another. Please forgive the slightly swastika-like shape. That's completely unexpected, that shape. I'm sure I could have designed it better, but it will have to do for now. Let's see what else can I do. So you'll notice that you'll notice that there's this chunk here missing. This is so that the top and bottom cup will actually work. So you saw the cup earlier. That's what this piece is. So I actually need to split this in half. But before I can do that, I need to bring this sketch back. And for this job, I'm going to extrude here. Let's call this 3. Because of how small we're working in the first place, these are really large. It doesn't actually matter. So I'm going to set this to 0.8. 0.6. No, that's still too much. 0.5. That'll do, I suppose. Yeah, it will. Now we go remove, and remove from this fella. I want to completely flip its direction. So like this. Okay. Now boolean, and subtract, which is remove. These prongs are the tools. Obviously this is the target. We're going to use the keep tools. Now, we can hide this one. Now the question is, do we remove the top or the bottom from the cup? This would suggest that we're only removing the top section, so that's what I'm going to go for. Let me index this correctly. So, there we go. Let's actually hide that plane, shall we? You can hide the plane at any point. This is a poor tutorial if I keep forgetting to hide things. Okay. Split. Let's go and split this bit here. Done. Now, hide this bit. What we're going to do is we're going to chamfer these edges. Not much, but just a tiny bit, by 0.05. Now we bring that bit back in. Oh, that does look about right. So, I'm going to move this to here. In fact, I'm going to remove this completely. It's gone. There's no more information we could gain from it. But there's a lot we can gain from this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this sketch again. I'm going to drag these guys. Oops, no. I'm going to drag this guy until these guys are down here. And I'm trying to drag a fixed arc. By the way, it don't work. Instead, because I need this to be much more open, I'm going to draw a line that goes all the way here, and then trim, trim. I see. I need this line, trim. All this has to go. How about you? Bit there. Notice the mistake? Yep. trim only this bit. This does leave us with a bit of a weird Hall effect sensor. Mounting hole that's really actually quite large. So, I think maybe this would do. So now, trim again, and we're going to remove these guys. Now, we've actually removed the right bits this time. Now, let's sketch up here. Now this shows that there's sort of recessed bolts. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to recess the bolts. I think that's actually super neat. So, I'm going to set these to 0.4. With the bolts themselves having a 0.3 head. Or rather 0.35 should be. Now, this is an M2 bolt, so no, that should be 0.3, not 0.35. Now, we'll go use, and circular pattern. Select these guys, and move the center. So we've now got this set up, and we click tick. I really don't want the dictionary. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude these circles. Inside and out need to be extruded at the same time. Extrude this. Set this to just 0.5 and remove. 0.5 is way too much, so 0.1. That leaves us with quite a lot of material still there. So, we'll do this. We'll extrude this up to face. That face. Yes. Extrude this by 0.1. Add to this and change direction. Okay, that's that done. Now, I'm going to extend this bit here. I actually think that should be curved, perhaps. So let's just extend this by no, you know what? I'm not going to extend it at all. Put that back into full screen. Here's one little bit of detail I do want to add to this though. We're going to set this to 0.05 or 0.07 even. Yep. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this bolt. And I'm just going to do a simple chamfer in here. Set this to 0.02. That's a bolt. Now, if we hide this, click here, here, here. Do I need to say here each time I'm pressing? I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, I would say. Because we need to repeat it on each of these holes. So, I'm correct in thinking this remembers the last chamfer I just did. Yes, it does. So this should be perfect for the bolt that goes into them. In fact, if I open this, I'm pretty sure I could even get... No, you know what? I'm not going to do that bottom hole because I think that's just too much detail. The one I do want to kind of see come through on the bottom is this one. So I can go use this. Now I can go and hide this one. It's no longer necessary. The circle up to there. I'm not going to be pedantic about the fact that this one is not perfect. After all, it's only a Hall effect sensor. So, yeah. Okay. Zoom into here. Draw a line from here to here. Over to here. And here. Now then. This does seem to go out to the center. So, I actually haven't got the room to do that. So I'm going to do it from here. Draw a line straight across. And then circle E for equal, and we set these two to equal. And I'm going to draw a line up here. What I'm going to do is make sure that this is actually bang on 90, which it is somehow. I don't know how that's happened, but it set itself to perfectly 90. And again, that's actually really pretty strange. So now what we can do is we can trim all of these overlapping lines. So they're no longer necessary for this. Just be careful not to go too close to the edge for obvious reasons. I'm going to remove this now. I'm going to take the opportunity to then offset this entire thing. I'm going to do it to 0.1. Sorry, no. 0.01. That's good. That's worked. I'll set this to 0.5 and remove. Merge with all is now turned on. And instead of 0.5, I'm going to do this to 0.7. Now you'll notice that this actually does cut through these bits. So now if I remove this, we've got two of these that are not like the others. This is completely by design. So, let's put all these pieces together, or rather, make them visible. And let's select this. By the way, top tip, you can actually hide all sketches and hide all planes. And this center dot, we can even hide that. So there we have it. The outer shell is pretty much complete. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go circular pattern around here and increase the count to 8. Okay. But suppress just for now. So I want this to be dark grey, like gunmetal grey. Let's press the others. Oh, they're all gunmetal grey. I'm going to keep this block as blue for now. And you'll notice why I did this in just a second. So I'm now going to shunt this. This block's going to remain blue for the time being to make it easier to work with. Because if you see, oh, it's not coloured there, but it will be grey once it reaches there. And it'll be living in a lonely world of grey. Okay. That looks good. Now, I actually don't think it does need to be that deep. So let's just set it to 0.2. And sketch. I'm going to do a new sketch here. I'm going to put a Hall effect sensor in here. So hide this one. Extrude to 0.1. 0.01 even. No, 0.02. Be a little bit generous. With, if I turn that around, put start an offset of entity, and then simply hide the sketch we're currently working with. Put there. Set to remove. Alright, now let's sketch here. Draw a circle right in the center. Now like that, and set to 0.4. As I believe that's what the shaft's going to be. Extrude. Remove. 0.02. The new body. Hide this temporarily. Extrude. The 0.02 starting offset. The depth doesn't actually matter at the moment. And we're going to go add. I'm going to add this to this piece here. Now, as this is a rotation sensor, it doesn't actually matter about how it connects to the shaft. I mean, the shaft could actually be the sensor. Now, if anybody's wondering why I've had to put these recesses in, it's actually to prevent this from shattering. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an offset if I can. Nope. Okay. So now, show all parts. Sketch 17. Pardon me again. Up to next. Okay, so now the sensor's in place, we can add some more detail. So I quite like these bolts. I think it's really clever the way these are spaced. And hey, look, there's a hollow shaft in the middle. Although I'm not sure that is hollow. I think that sticks up slightly, but we just can't see it. It could even stick in the way, I suppose. But that's detail that we'll work on next time. To wrap this up, I think I'm going to do these with veins. I'll show a quick sort of way of doing it. So I want to go and hide other parts other than this one. Hide all sketches. Don't worry about this lip. This is just because of the job on it. You can get rid of this a few different ways. This is possibly the easiest way. No, this just makes an error. So let's get rid of that. Let's just leave it and say that that's good enough. Now, I'm going to sketch here. And I'm going to go line. Escape. So what we can do is we can use the use tool to give us our first start. So we'll draw a tangent circle. And draw a couple more. And then tangent these guys together. And this one I'm actually going to get rid of. We'll draw another circle in here. We'll now hide this guy. 0.07. Now then, do a circular pattern. These two. Drag this up so that they're only going as far as this end. Now, how many? Well, we want them to be pretty tightly packed. So we can just hold the up arrow until they start coming closer and closer and closer and closer. Well, they're actually overlapping now ever so slightly. What I'm going to do, press tick. I'm going to let that load. It will take some time. Now, oops, sorry. The amount I've just made is 115. So now, I'm going to remove these It's 113 by 115. 133 by 115, sorry. So, let's completely undo these guys. Seems we can't do that. It's 2. We can now remove this. Now, circular pattern, just this bit. And go, it's 133 by 115. Tick. Now, if I go and trim, I believe this affects them all. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to tick off here. And I'm going to click here, 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 here. You get the drill, I mean. In fact, I'm going to modify this slightly. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. I meant circle. And then bring this line up to here. So now you can see it slowly starting to do what I want it to do. I think I may have just deleted the wrong line. No, didn't. Yes, it did. Okay, now let's go back to trim. Move that. Okay, this could get a little boring after a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small shortcut. I'm going to draw a circle here. I'm going to extrude this. To do that, I need to maybe see what I'm actually extruding onto. Ah, there we go. But instead of extrude, I think I might actually use the sweep function. This will allow me to sweep it only across here. New. That does hide away this bit, which I don't want it to do. So let's sweep and sweep it across here. Call this new. and do it again. Where is the sweep function? There it is. Okay. This is what we're sweeping. This is the line we're sweeping. And we are, in fact, this time adding it to this one. And then, what we're going to do, we're going to sweep this little fella here. You'll never guess what he's going to connect to. Yeah, that's right, this guy. Anybody noticed anything odd? This doesn't appear to be sweeping all the way to the other side. So, I think the solution is to delete this bit. Instead put vents in or something. And it definitely would be possible to actually make this bit flat. You know what? I think that might actually be quite a useful thing to do. Now, this is the extent of the issues we have to face. I'm just going to have to do a small bit of fault finding. So now, we're going to go through this one bit at a time. So, okay, so something really strange has happened there. I can't get it to go right. So, I'm just going to take these guys away. I'll possibly make something to go in there later, but let's not actually worry about that now. We'll show all parts. This shaft, way too long. Okay, so, yeah, got the shaft there, that looks about right. Probably make bits to go in there later. But maybe we should look at these vents. I don't know, I think the vents could work. Definitely need to try and figure that out. But I also need to try and figure out some sort of bearing for in here. And then in the second tutorial, we'll definitely be working on the bearing and actuator things for these. I'm not sure if in the third tutorial we'll be working on the eye, or maybe that will happen in the second tutorial. But for this one, definitely finish with these side vents. So, yeah, side vents. Definitely what we should focus on now. So, I think maybe we could resize this actually. Yeah. No, actually, no. Let's leave that as it is. What I am going to do is I'm going to remove these shell parts. So I can put this up here. And what we'll do is we'll use the use function again. Draw a line that goes all up here. Another one goes here. And over here. And now with this line. Circular. Get it up to no. That doesn't work out. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just put a little box thing in here. Goes up like this. And then draw another one up to here. And then connect these guys here. Yep, that's alright, that works. Now, I'm going to remove these center lines because these are going to get in our way, or rather, in my way. And with the trim tool, come in, I can trim these two bits away. Let's trim that there as well. Get all of this. That little blobby bit wasn't actually needed. Okay, so now, go back here, tick off of this. Now, I'm going to go and extrude, make this a new part, make the shell visible again. Nope, that can't be an extrude. I'm going to have to do this another way, so go to the front view. Draw a circle, rather use. Click here, and bring this bit in. So now we've got this extreme line here. This from the top piece. As you can see, we're going to add this little bevel bit. Now we have where the actual thingamajig is going to go. So, let's go back to this one actually. And let's go trim with the trim function to bring in this bit, and then trim, try this. Nope, still not letting me do it. Only from where it's needed. So, I have to draw these lines in. So, bring this line in. I'm now able to actually just trim this off from here. Now, I extrude this, or rather, revolve it, sweep it, even, along this bottom line, but notice it goes beyond the top. Let's set this to new, and then that's the wrong tool, sorry. Where's there it is. It's the circular pattern we need. We select this entity, and we select this. Then we set this to 50 degrees. So that actually looks quite good there. So we got it set to 53, 17. How about we actually move this down to 52 with 20 of these? Change this, actually. 55. Okay. Add them all together so they become just one object. Now, so now we have it set to, well, it should only be 22 at 55 degrees. Now, I'm basically using this to copy it across. And what I'll do is I'll then mirror and I'll use the front as the plane of mirror. I'll go add, and I'll add it to itself. Now, I'll then go and mirror this again over to the other side. To do that, the mirror plane needs to be the right plane. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do here is look for this plane, set to final, and then we're going to draw a line all the way down here. And then another one from here down. This gives us the edge bit that we need. Now you'll notice that there's now this piece here. Precisely what we want. So to replicate this on the other side, I'm just going to draw these across. This gives us quite a nice little bit to be unioned to. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that they kind of just sit in there. They don't really seem to be functionally attached. But that's completely not by design. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and this, make them tools, and select these vents. If we hide both shell parts, we can see that these vents actually look kind of alright. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to edit the sketch. I'm going to draw a line straight across here. Tick. Now, I don't actually know which side of the box this is going to draw. I hope it's the top. Yep. It is in fact the top. Right, okay, so now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a circle in here, and the square. This box bit, I mean. Get rid of that little bit. And then I'm going to hide the new vents. I'm going to show these two bits, because I need these visible. And then go back to the inner shell. Let's sweep inner shell. Yeah. Now, if we select mirror, let's go right plane. That'll do. So now we can hide the right plane. Now, I'm going to set this to new for now. select these two new parts. And I knew I had the wrong one selected. I do need the top plane. Our plane is top, and it is add to this and this. Now, we have the vents. Now I know I said earlier that we'd do it in the final SketchUp thing, but I'm just going to do it now. Maybe black, because they need to be black. Huh. It didn't pull all the way up. It's actually fine. That really doesn't matter. So, there we have it. If you've watched all the way to the end of this, thank you very much. And if you've liked what you've seen, then I'll try and upload part 2 soon. But for now,